thought I'd do a bit of a how to get started video. It's probably a bit late for the 3.5, but it'll be good when we get back into the sort of swing of things with the next season. So I guess we're going to do a really quick one just to help anyone out who doesn't really know what they're doing. This is made for newbies. I've got a new mic. I wanted to test my new mic out. So the first one, and I'll put the links in the description to where to go, is when you're a new starter, you don't really know what you're doing. And most people just jump straight into the game and just freeball the skill tree, which is, as we can see here, absolutely fucking huge. So you can do that. You'll probably cock it up. So the easiest way for anyone who's starting, and I'll put this as point 1, so there's 4 points, is using poe.builds.cc, which I'll bring on the screen now. Essentially, this just gives you basically any sort of build structures, anything like that that takes your fancy. You can search by, what can you search by? You can search for a whole slew of different things depending on what you want to play. Now, like if you want to run spells or spellcasters, you can search for spellcaster builds. If you specifically want to play rangers that shoot spells, then you can do that. I wouldn't suggest doing rangers that shoot spells, though they're usually pretty garbage. If you're going to do that, go Witch or Templar. Yeah, essentially pretty much anything that you want to build, this website will cater for your build, will give you a build guide for it. Now, void of that, the builds that I would suggest going with if you're a starter would be something like Ancestral War Chief. It's pretty easy to get in. Pretty much anything with Juggernaut is tanky as shit, and you'll be able to do a shit ton of damage without having to understand mechanics of the game as much as you're starting. It's also good when you do a new season. So, for example, Betrayal. Before you do any complex builds, you really need a simple build that can just farm content for you and get you through to the end game. So basically, you can farm currency, because a lot of the more complex builds actually require you to essentially have more expensive gear for to make them work. So in this case, I'm just going to a Facebreaker build. I wouldn't play Facebreaker as a first character, but you can. And this is just a Berserk. As you can see, it gives you the trees. It gives you everything that you basically need to get started, and it'll link you through. So first point, builds PoE builds CC. We'll just scroll back. poebuilds.cc. First point. Second point, how to quickly level up. I pretty much just covered off on that. Just look for league starter builds or really popular builds. So, for example, Ancestral War Chief is always a good one to go with. This season and last season have been like Arc Witches and I don't know about Quad Totems as a first build. So, for example, Arc Totems, which I'm pretty sure there should be in here. Whatever. Spell Totems, here we go. Betrayal Arc Totems. So these are really good builds to get into pretty early in the game. Arc, Ancestral War Chief, really easy skills. Same with Cyclone. If you're going to play that, you can either go the Ranger or the Duelist for Cyclone, and obviously there's also things like Barrage builds and things like that, which are really simple and don't require a lot of currency. So as far as getting through the content, that's what I would look at as point 2. Look for very easy builds, especially when you're learning. You don't want to learn complex mechanics like you need to scale this keystone ability with this ability and you need this specific item for this. It's too much to try and get your head around sometimes. Alright, buying and selling. So you're going to inevitably look at a build guide and be like, wow, how the fuck do I get those items? Alright, don't stress. There is a website you can go to called PoE. So I was looking at Star Forges, which are really cheap in the current league. So you can go to poe.trade, and I'll put this link in the description as well. And basically, you can look up any item. So if I go to a build, for example, Molten Blades, for whatever reason, so if I look at, for example, the gear, and they go, okay, I need a touch of anguish. So then I'll go to poe.trade, I'll go in here, I'll go Control V, a touch of anguish, I'll search for the item. Alright, it gives me this item. Now, from here, all I need to do is hit this whisper button. That'll copy it. and then I can go into my game and paste it like so. We won't do that because we'll piss that seller off, and just don't waste sellers' time. But that's pretty much the easiest way to get any gear that you really need in the game. That's what I'll be doing. Use this website. It's great. You can use it for maps as well. So if you're looking at when you get into mapping in endgame, you can search for maps. So if you change the parameter to map, and then you can go, you might want to do reef, reef map, and someone might be selling reef map, which it looks at, well, you've got to take that off there. There we go. So reef maps are 7 fusings. So that's pretty much the core 3 essentials to PoE, and I'll go through the last point, which is probably important for anyone who starts a build and realizes that it's shit. But we'll get to that. So point 1, poebuilds.cc. Point 2, quickly level up with League starter builds, and basically just breeze through the content. Don't get stuck on anything. Just give yourself a little bit of resistance. You're gonna die when you first play through. Don't play hardcore leagues. Just play the league for that season. And if you want to play solo self-on, you can. I wouldn't suggest it if you're learning the game. It is good to get involved with community, because you'll actually learn a lot from people just in the chat, even though people can be slinging yo mama jokes everywhere. And thirdly is buying and selling, poe.trade. So, and I can do a video on setting up macros and things like that. Those will be the first 3 points. The 4th point is actually orbs of regret. So if you don't do any of the first 3 points, and you're sitting there and you realize that your character can't do jack shit because it's weak as fuck, and you fucked up, and you realize when you look at a build, oh shit, I didn't build my character the way that I needed to build, don't just go and delete your character. You can redeem a character. It's just very expensive, and it'll involve going to pretty much any town and going to the potions and crafting, or the magic crafting vendor, and then basically you're going to buy these little bastards here, and you're going to need orbs of scouring to do 2 orbs of scouring to 1 orb of regret. And the easiest way to get orbs of scouring, if outside of farming them in game, is orbs of chance, which drop throughout the entire game from the very start. So don't go and spend all your orbs of chance straight away. If you know that you're first starting out, keep your orbs of chance, and pretty much go crazy on the orbs of scouring, and then orbs of regret. Orbs of regret and will help you reset, which is what I've done with this character actually quite a bit as I've been leveling up, because this Death Oath character is fucking difficult to balance. But you'll once you figure out what you're doing, once you sort of have a direction, it's easy to know, okay, I need to move these nodes around here, I need to regret this, bing, 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 done. Note, if you screw up on your ascendancy, the cost to undo one of these nodes is 5 orbs of regret. So don't fuck your ascendancies up, or try not to fuck them up. Anyway, that's my quick 4 points. It's under 10 minutes, so yeah, feel free to drop any comments in the descriptions. If you're going to call shit on me, do it. I fucking dare you to. This is just logical stuff, trying to get into the game and get started. If you have problems, the best thing to do with PoE is look at the wikis, understand the mechanics a little bit, watch YouTube videos like Ziggy D and lifting and things like that, or this channel that I'm trying to get up and going, and ask questions to the community. You'll be surprised that you might actually get a response. This game isn't sort of like League of Legends or whatever, where you've got an overbearingly toxic community in Bronze League or whatever. This is a learning game, and it takes a little bit of time to get the hang of it, but once you do, and the more time you spend in it, the better it gets. Anyway, if you like this content, like and subscribe, hit the bell button for notifications. I don't know which side that is, somewhere. And yeah, let me know if there are any other questions. I can create more content. This is just for you Joe Blow. I work full time. I come home, I play PoE in my spare time and watch movies on my second screen. So yeah, this game, you don't have to be a hardcore player. You can be a non-hardcore player and you can still play it like every other person out there. You just sometimes you just got to do a little bit more reading, and I'm going to try and create content for people who aren't hardcore in this game. Anyway, thanks a lot, and like and subscribe, and see you later.